All right, we're live.
All right, everybody. Jared James here. Welcome to this episode of Today with Jared James. I'm joined by the
Detective
amazingly smart and intelligent
Detective James.
Oh, that's right. You are Detective James.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a keen sense for, like, there's like weird things that happen throughout the day, and it's like
burning armpits.
why is that like that? Why is that like that? What's going on here? Yeah, you have a way of putting, I'll bet it's this, I'll bet it's that, and you put things together.
It's so weird, and I love it.
Yeah, I love it too because it helps me like solve things. For those of you that are watching us and not listening to us, hopefully that doesn't mean you're watching us on mute, but like, but I mean, yes, we are here just for pretty faces. Last podcast of the year, super casual. We are chilling. You look beautiful.
Oh my gosh, we're both wearing gray.
Are you surprised?
We didn't even plan this.
People say all the time they can't tell the difference between you and I. We look alike.
Very much.
I didn't get the memo on gray, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't get that.
Tom is not in
Producer
gray.
Tom.
Tom is not in
Do you have
gray.
the rock on your?
I do,
And I'm not
yeah.
talking about a rock, just so you
No,
guys know.
I have Dwayne the Rock Johnson on the back of my sweater. It says Jingle Bell Rock with like the rocks thing.
You know what's funny? You walked up to the house in your Santa hat.
I did. Yeah, I can't wear it right now because otherwise it will show
Yes,
on camera.
and my boys saw you and they said, Tom's got the hat on,
Here
and
we go.
one of them goes, "We love Tom. Isn't Tom great?" I said, "You don't know."
Did you wear this while you were driving?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually forgot it was on until I went downstairs and I think I bopped my head on something. I was like, "What is that?" Yeah.
That's cute.
Well,
did you actually? We watched that movie by the way, Red One.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How was
we
it?
did. Well, you know what's funny? It was
There's
in the theaters.
there was a lot of dark moments actually.
Well, there
and
was a
then
lot
there
of
was
language. We watched it with
a lot of
with your
language.
kids, and we didn't realize there's gonna be some language in it. But it's in the theaters, and yet you can get it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. So
Yeah, so you can watch
But it was a
it.
good movie. It was a fine movie. It was a Christmas movie. It's a
It
good
was
movie.
a 2-hour movie. It
Oh, no
was very
kidding.
long.
Wow.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's that long, but for a kid movie, that's
Yeah,
long.
that's a
long.
long.
Yeah. But anyway, point is, we are very casual right now, but you can't tell with Linda because Linda just basically has a way of just whatever she wears looking good.
Well, I have sweatpants and slippers.
And I can say that, and anybody watching right now, close your eyes, okay? Okay. But we're coming off of a bit right now. I just did my last event of the year. My last in-person event. I did Atlantic City for Triple Play, and lost my voice for a while because of the party hardy at nighttime.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Oh, what, you didn't think I was gonna be truthful? That was a good time.
Oh, wow.
That was a good time.
you know
but
what,
it's,
Tom, he was saying, I had to adjust to Pacific time because, I'm going to California, so
said,
I
"Babe,
was
I'm staying out
out
late
late till
for
1
you.
o'clock.
Yeah. Staying out
Oh,
late
yeah,
for you."
adjust to Pacific time. Don't throw it on me now.
Guys, I'm a giver.
not
I'm a
jet
giver.
lagged when I land,
I said, "Hey, I'm coming in every night at 1 a.m., going to after events at nightclubs and, private events with bands and all this stuff." And I told her, "You're welcome. I did this for you."
Yeah.
Okay? It's a sacrifice. Okay?
Someone's got to do it.
And then
you
the
know?
whole time in California, I'm so tired.
was
And it hit 8 o'clock, and I'm like thinking.
Well, the problem was I was still waking up on East Coast time.
Luckily, my
Right.
kids have curfews and bedtime at 8:30, so
think that's what-
it worked great.
They did not. Yeah, they would get a certain version of me all day, and then right around 8 o'clock, I was like Cinderella.
I know.
Ty is like going around me like trying to whatever, and I'm just like, I'm not even looking at him. I'm just like, I can't right now. I can't do this right now. Like this is just not. This is not. But yeah, it was a good time. Did my last live event though. Did some sessions there. Went really well. And someone's gonna have to pick this pup up here because he
know.
is trying to get Daddy to pick him up. And then I did my last virtual session yesterday. I started off the event. I realized right beforehand you were there.
Yes,
I'm
I
like,
was.
this is the last virtual event. I said, I'm mailing it in. This is no. So I did my last virtual event of the year, and that was fun. It was interesting because I was away for. That wasn't my last event of the year. I just did an event in Fresno. Right after Atlantic City. So Atlantic City wasn't my last.
That was your last live
It wasn't though.
in person.
Fresno was.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I
in
just lied to
person,
everybody and
yeah.
told them Atlantic City was, but it wasn't because then I came to California to be with you, and then we did an event there. Real event, whatever. So that was actually definitely. I meant real event, meaning like it's real, but it literally was a real event.
Like
the
real brokerage.
Reel, yeah.
Well,
but I actually meant
it wasn't really like.
It was for everybody, but it was
Yes.
thrown by a real brokerage.
Correct.
And again, real meaning the brand real.
It was a real brokerage.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. That was different. I had my mother-in-law in the audience. Like that was weird. You know, it's like you hang out with people. They're making you dinner. You're chilling in your sweats, and the next day they're watching people get in a line to like say hi, and you're just like, this is weird.
It was the first
Weird.
time my mom has ever seen him on stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ever. And so she had no idea. It was cute though. She had no idea what to expect, but she would get the camera out, taking photos and videos, and they had a VIP row for us, which is very nice. She felt very special. But you know, it meant a lot to me too, though, because it's the first time my mom has ever seen me in the real estate space as well. So
That's what I was
got
excited
to introduce her to so many people, and everyone was like, "You're Linda's mom, you know, Linda's mom," and everyone in Fresno has known me as an MLS exec. So it was really nice to.
That was really, that was actually
intro mom to everybody.
I actually enjoyed that even more. It was kind of cool for her to see you in your element and to see like the respect that people had for you and the role you had played with them and what you had done. And you know, they don't really get that. They, you know, I think a lot of times people on the outside, especially family, they just see you as a working mom. And that makes sense. It's like they don't, you know, it's like their focus is their grandkids and you being them, I mean, whatever. And so it was really cool for her to kind of see, oh, Linda has these different worlds where, you know, her main focus is her children and doing whatever, but then she has this other world where like she's valued and important and people are excited to see her and, you know, she's done so much work for them and helped them and, you know, whatever. And so for me, I was kind of watching, you know, I was backstage or whatever, but I would kind of peek out and whatever. And it was cool for me to kind of see that, for her to get to see that, for her to see people like wait to say hi to you, or to, you know, whatever. And I was like, I thought that was for me even better. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah,
so
it was special.
Yeah, it was awesome. Sure. And then I was, you know, it's tough because like I try to break up all of the travel and the events or whatever, and I was away from my boys for like 9 days, and that was not necessarily easy. To be away like that, but at the same time, boy, is it nice when you get back. But I could tell my boys are missing me too, so it was nice. My boy, just so you know, Grayson's off on the side there. You want to show your new hair? You want to show your new hair? Come here, kid. You guys all know Grayson. Come here. Come over here. Come over on this view. Go to my view over here. Go to my view. Come here. It's like a young JT. Look at this kid. Whoa. Whoa!
Look at it. Teddy's like, show me.
It's growing back.
Look at this. It is growing back. You're looking good, kid. You're looking good.
Yeah. All right.
All right, now go on, get.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
Love you, bud. So anyway, it was interesting just being away that long because I definitely was like missing them hard, and I could tell that they were as well. So it was nice to get back to them. Obviously, we flew back across the country together, as everybody knows. You know, very non-conventional. Lives, and so we flew back and got to spend some time with them, what we've been doing now, and that was fantastic. Although we did have an interesting dilemma because we brought Teddy with us to the West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you brought him,
I
and then
brought
we met.
him.
We came back, and Teddy gets particularly attached to us. And generally, Teddy sleeps with Grayson. And we were around, and he wanted to be around. Just like right now, he's trying to get you to pick him up.
Come on.
And I used that outside the box brain to get him to stay with Grayson because the dog would just keep running over to our room. And he's like, like wanting, and Grayson's like, he won't stay here.
Yeah.
I said, I have a plan. Here's what we're going to do.
Let's set the tone. This is like 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Okay. We're trying to get to bed. We're actually in bed.
We landed, we came in.
We're in bed.
We're hanging out with Grayson for a while. Now it's almost midnight.
Teddy
time to go
is
to bed.
crying like he is now, like whining. And Jared's like, Grayson, get Teddy. So he gets Teddy.
I wanted a night without him trying to sleep on my legs. I know he's only 5 pounds, but just enough.
Jared gets me out of bed. He gets me out of bed. He's like, babe, come on. Let's go and pretend like we're leaving the house.
Brilliant. Let him see us.
Leave the
Make
house.
Grayson say goodbye. Open the garage door. Open the garage. Let him hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Close the garage. Grayson, take him to your room. Mommy and Daddy are gone. We're not here anymore. Slowly open the door from the garage to come inside and slowly tiptoe upstairs and get by the room without him hearing us. Now, This one over here, I had to
I
practically
thought it was
carry her.
so weird.
She's
I thought
crying.
it was so weird. No, so we walk
Crying.
out. Teddy's like watching us, so confused, and he wants to come with us because you know why? In California, I took him everywhere.
Yeah,
so
sure,
he's
that's
like,
true.
he's like, Mom, take me.
Now you're back to the beginning of the thing we did, where we walked out to the garage,
So we were
and he's like, "Am I coming? Am I coming?"
We're walking out, and Teddy's like, take me. I was like, no, Teddy, we're staying. And mind you, like, we're not like decently dressed. Like, we're in PJs or whatever, like leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm like,
I wear silk.
okay.
No, I don't.
And I'm like,
I don't.
I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe we're doing this. It's a freaking dog.
Guys,
Take the
tell her
dog
in the comments
to
it's
the room,
brilliant. It was
take
brilliant.
Take the dog to the room, close the door, let it cry, and it will stop. Tom, you don't have kids.
No.
Okay.
I thought she was telling you.
Yeah.
I am a mom of two. I'm a mom of two. Every mom would say this. Not every mom. I'm sorry. Some will probably criticize me in the comments. Let the baby cry. Let it cry it out in the crib, and it will
I just want for everybody
eventually
listening,
stop.
she's talking about the dog still. I know she
Okay?
switched to children.
Let
Still
the
talking about
dog
the dog.
cry with Grayson. Let it cry.
The problem is he won't stay on the bed. He'll jump
No.
down and be scratching at the door.
Let it cry. Let it stay on the floor.
Teddy, I
Let
would
it
like you to
cry.
hear your mom is
It
calling you
totally
it. She's
fine.
referring to you as it.
Why are we getting out of bed and like pretending we're Santa, putting gifts under the present?
Gifts under the present?
It's like we're tiptoeing
Gifts under the
downstairs.
present?
I mean, gifts under the tree. It's like we're tiptoeing downstairs, and then we have to go all the way back upstairs. And mind you,
You're crying.
I'm crying, and it's like creaking. Everything's creaking. And I'm like, we can't be quiet even if we try to be quiet because I'm 100 and something pounds trying to go up the stairs. I'm not
100
going to
and
say.
something.
I'm not going to say how much I weigh on.
Well,
this
you all just
podcast.
learned she's not 97 pounds.
How much I weigh. And so I'm crying.
You didn't say I wish I was, right?
What?
Oh, I thought you said
No,
I wish
didn't.
I was. I'm like, you would not.
And
You don't
I'm
belong
like,
at 97.
I'm laughing, crying, but I'm quiet. He's like this, shh, so loud, louder than my laugh, cry.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into the room and everything's creaking. It was just crazy. And then you know what he does? It's like he's unwrapping gifts. It's so loud. It's so loud.
They don't even know what you're talking about right now. There was a thing I had to unwrap. There was like a mail thing I had to whatever. And it
whole
had
bunch
some
of
kind of
tissue
wrapping
paper.
tissue, and it was like that movie Twister all of a sudden.
It's like, yeah, defeat the purpose of the whole entire tippy-toeing going out down.
I think you're missing
Anyways.
the actual purpose, which is that it worked.
So we talked about that. I was like, babe, it's no difference. Like, let a baby cry.
That's
Let a
not-
dog cry.
It's way different.
It's not different.
Guys, somebody get in the comments here. It's different.
It's not
somebody,
different.
Somebody let this lady know it is different.
Apparently,
It's
he
different.
thinks he fooled the dog.
Did it work?
I think Teddy just knew. Dad doesn't want me. I think he just
you think
knew.
the dog that you referred to as it
realized
is smart enough
realized he
to
didn't
go,
want us.
he has
We-
forsaken me, and he just laid down.
No, like literally, Dad is lying to me.
He's looking at me right now
Yeah.
with those big eyes.
He knows that you just lied to him.
Why does he want me right now?
Because I am ignoring him.
All right, want to give him to me? I'll put him on my lap. But guys, the bottom line is it worked. Come here, darling. You want to say hi? Say hi to everybody. There you go. She referred to you as it. We will not allow for that. Am I right? Am I right?
I think he still wants
All right,
me.
lay down, lay down. I'll give him to you right now.
No, I don't want.
Um,
Anyways, so that was hilarious. It was funny.
it's gonna be great if I say anything that's worthy of a clip, and I'm saying something serious, and all of a sudden it slowly just pans, and you see Teddy's head.
I think this covers it enough, though, right?
I'm gonna be over here. Let me tell you something, brother. Like, hold on.
Teddy.
God. Well, I just learned I better not say anything important on this episode, okay? When I have a 5-pound dog that we refer to as it. Don't kiss him after you called him it.
Anyways, I thought it was hilarious topic. And then honestly, if there was a fly on the wall, they would think that we were whack jobs.
It worked. That's where it works.
I literally
Mother.
wanted
That
to
is where
text-
it belongs. When I talk
wanted
about
to text Grayson
the
and
strategy.
I wanted to text Grayson and say, so pathetic. Like, so pathetic.
Tell the truth. You didn't want it to work. You were rooting
I
against
don't think it
You
worked.
made noise on purpose. Those were fake tears. You were fake crying, trying to make noise. So the plan didn't work. So I didn't get credit for it. Because that's what you referred to as it, the plan, not this beautiful ball of hair that you refer to as it. Look at her. Look at her. Chase her like the geese.
Oh, he's looking at you.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but
like the geese.
Teddy has added another title to his resume.
Hunter.
Goose hunter.
He's a hunter.
It must have been 50 if there was 100 of them out there. Am I wrong? Every one of them bigger than him. Do you think he cares? Because at his core, he is a wolf.
Same thing with a squirrel. He goes after the squirrels.
You're killing my story right now.
Well, some squirrels could be bigger than him.
I'm not going to lie, though. When he chased the squirrel, I was
You were
afraid the
scared?
squirrel was going to recognize who it was.
got
And he
him,
was going to
Bubba.
turn around and face up to Teddy. It was going to be trouble because that's a wild animal.
Yeah, those things can fight.
You know what I'm saying? That's a rat with a tail.
Yeah.
Like, that's
They have
all that
claws,
is.
so
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And so, anyway, so guys, I live on a lake. And
oversized pond.
there's these, during this time of the year, there's these geese, and my God, they have multiplied. Like, when I say there's like, they sit out in the water, no joke, when they're all together, is there not 50 to 100 of them?
Do you hear that?
Correct?
Yeah.
There's like 50 to 100 of them.
Not
right?
100. Oh my gosh.
Okay, there's a lot of them.
25.
Babe, that's so wrong. You are misleading the audience
This is
so
like
bad
the,
right
it's
now.
like the lake situation.
Guys,
There's
she
like
is a great
25.
detective. I'm good at guessing numbers. It's so much more than
You
25.
think there's 50 to 100?
100%. I'm sorry, 25%.
Oh my gosh.
Same thing to you.
I am going to take a photo and I'm going to post it in the comment of this podcast.
Guess the amount of geese.
Oh.
Babe,
Guess the
you've
number of
already
geese.
worked against
My.
my plan with the dog. What you're going to do is take a photo that just narrows in on
No,
24
no.
geese.
I will
And then go,
take-
guys,
I will
tell
take
me
a
this
very-
is not 25.
I'll take, no, I will do a landscape photo so everyone can see your lake, okay?
Just air quote lake.
Okay.
This is your lake, too.
Oh, our lake. Okay, our lake. And look at the 50 to 100 geese out there.
200. There's 200.
200 geese.
I just
50
want-
to 200 geese.
I'm doubling down. Okay? There's 200 geese out there. There's 200 if there was not 400.
Oh, okay.
But the point is that,
They have grown, though, I have to say. It was like a few, and then it's like a whole bunch.
yeah,
You
used to
know?
be 25.
They're like, oh, we got him. We got him.
But let me go back to praising
Teddy.
this little Viking.
Aw.
Okay? Because what he did,
We don't like the Vikings.
he understood the assignment.
It's like the
We
Broncos.
open up, and guys, she's got videos that can never go public. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you see me go out there
Grayson
and
has
chase
them
them
too.
away, and how they look at me like I'm nothing, and wait till I get right in front of them
He
to
finds
finally.
rocks and he throws them
Yeah, yeah.
like he's David. Where's the
The sound
Goliath?
effects. The sound effects today.
We gotta get
Between the crinkling of the paper.
I know we had that. Remember the
We
clapping?
did. We had it for
Yeah.
like a second, and then they took it
It was
away.
gone.
I got a taste of it, and now
I'm just about done with
Oh.
this dog. He sat on my lap for long enough.
Oh, okay.
You want to go to mommy?
Finish the story though. First,
What if we pull over the bed and put it
before
right
you
here?
get him away? Finish the
What if
story
we-
because
what
we're
if we give him
talking
the
about
bed?
Teddy. Let's talk about Teddy
Okay.
stuff.
So I take this Viking of a dog here, which has roots as a wolf.
yes, it does.
It's very
He
true.
does.
It's where dogs come from. Babe, you grabbing his bed right here? It's right here, babe. Okay, well. So I take this dog, and when he sees these geese in his yard, this is his territory. And here's why I chased them away, guys. I chased them away because it is like goose poop everywhere. They cover the area in goose poop, okay? And so I want them out of my yard. Like I work hard to keep this yard nice, to keep this yard, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Did you get a...
Okay, finish the story. Go.
So I wasn't sure how he was going to react. I was a little worried because just like the squirrel, there's 50 to 100 of these things. If they turn around and realize, they could probably pick him up and, whatever, fly him away.
Oh yeah,
He doesn't know any different. He'll just keep running to him. He'll run right into the trap. But let me tell you something. I've never been more proud. This is when I knew I had a dog. He went running, and they immediately saw the wolf in his eyes.
Yeah.
And they fly away. Now, they went on the edge of the water and came back up. But it was another opportunity to send that little ravaged beast after
That's
him.
right.
Can I tell you who taught him? Ty.
What do you mean?
Ty taught him
Taught him what?
to run because Ty was chasing the birds. So he
I was about to say, you mean Ty went out there barking?
No, Ty chased the birds and he chased Ty, and Ty like, okay.
I love it. I love it. That's
okay.
fantastic.
Anyway, so
So
because-
Ty is Linda's son, my stepson.
Yes. Yeah.
Who is...
they were just over here a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yes,
I
he
think.
goes out and chases the geese.
Yeah, he loves chasing.
with no regard for the poop all over the ground, I
No.
will say.
But he takes his shoes off when he comes
Yes.
in. Anyways, so
Did you buy me a gift?
we bought, yes, Teddy and I bought you
Teddy?
with your money.
Our money.
Look at a Nerf Pro gel fire gun. These are little.
Should we be advertising this?
Yes, we're actually sponsored by Nerf today.
No, I meant should we be
And,
sponsoring that I'm going to shoot pellets at geese?
Well, it's not pellets.
I just want you all to know I hate these geese with a the ducks. Oh my God, do I love the ducks. They swim back and forth. They're
just so
beautiful. When there's ice, they hop up on the ice and then they get back in the water. Like they're just gorgeous. Like guys, you guys can't see it, but my backyard is. I mean, it's serene. Like it is, especially when there's a little snow and a little.
I've seen it in like the videos. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Like
Stories,
it's beautiful. There's a bar back there. There's a patio. There's a dock. There's a what do you call it? That you swing in and read books.
Oh, a hammock?
A hammock. There's a waterfall.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
There's a it's gorgeous, right? And when the ducks are going back and forth, I freaking love it. The geese just crap all over the yard.
Yeah.
All over. And when I was away for this past week, the poop is all the way up to the house.
Oh, yeah, big
They thought this was their grounds. Okay? The hyenas took over the prairie, or whatever it's called, from the Lion King. What's it called? They took over the Pride Land.
Pride Land, yeah.
You know what, though? Simba came back.
You're Simba.
No, wait. Maybe he's Simba.
You're Simba?
I thought that's what you were saying. I thought you were saying
Oh,
he
first I was
Simba.
Simba.
Oh, okay.
I was Simba. Okay? But I left. The freaking hyenas took over the Pride Land. But the sun is back out.
Yeah.
Because I am
okay.
back, baby. And I am ruling with an iron fist.
And that iron fist is Teddy.
Yeah. Okay. So the Nerf's
Or a
good.
gel fire.
Anyways, these are like little Orbeez. They put them in the water. They get big, and then they load them up and.
I thought you were going to say they eat them like water and then they...
No, that's it.
Explodes
They're
up
not going to
inside
kill them
them.
or anything. They're like little.
Because I'd be for that. I'm just saying.
It's not going to kill them.
I just want to hang one of them as an example to the other
We're not
geese. Just one. Just this is what will happen to you.
I think they're going to leave, though, pretty soon, right? Like,
Dude, we keep thinking that, and the problem is the weather. It was 45 when I
that's
landed.
true.
They
I
keep thinking
know.
it's,
Yeah.
Come
Springtime
on.
now, yeah.
We got
Anyways,
flurries
we're going to
today.
load this up
Did.
today, okay?
Is this legit?
Yeah, it's
I'm not
legit.
wearing these glasses.
Well, no one's shooting back at you.
I'm a
honey.
man, baby.
Okay.
I missed.
He's a
Not
man.
on camera. Not on camera.
Teddy, come here.
I think that might have been on camera.
Perfect shot. Perfect.
Come on,
Bubba.
Absolute perfect shot. Okay. So anyway, I think that's the fun for this episode.
Okay,
we
let's get
have some serious
I'm pretty
things
sure
to talk
we lost.
about.
Hopefully, we didn't lose viewers.
No, we didn't lose viewers. I
I
think
don't
we
know.
gained viewers. Okay.
Hopefully we gained.
I talked about the hyenas taking over the Pride Land. If that
Yeah.
is not prime time,
Yeah.
talking, I don't know what is. Especially at a time when I think Lion King came out today,
Oh, did it?
the new one.
Oh yeah.
I'm for it, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, unpopular opinion.
Makes sense.
Lion King, top 5 movie all time. I freaking love that movie.
Why
Not
is that an
not
unpopular
cartoon
opinion?
movie.
Oh my!
Oh.
I'm
you
talking.
know,
That's one of my top 5
I
favorites
know we're
of all
not
time.
talking about reviews right now, but we did see
Gladiator
Gladiator
2.
2.
Oh, yeah?
Have you seen it?
I've not.
Are you planning on seeing it?
Probably at some point.
We won't tell about. We'll just say the
Yeah.
movie was great.
Movie was great. Yeah.
The ending, they missed an opportunity, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But tell the truth. When I got in the car with you and I said how that should have ended, you literally didn't. You were like.
Oh, well, you called
Yeah.
it in the theater. You're like,
Yep.
oh, I know what's gonna happen. I know
They're going to
what's
do
gonna
this.
happen.
He's going to say this,
they're
and this is
gonna
about
say
this is
it.
about to get goosebumpy.
And we're like, oh my gosh! So I got my camera ready because I really thought it was, and it didn't happen. And
Didn't
we
happen.
Both were like, whoa.
They missed an opportunity.
Mitch,
That would have
huge
been. Tell the
opportunity.
truth. I'm not going to say what it is, but if it ended the way I said it should have ended, tell me there would not be tears flowing in that theater. It would be literally the theater would stand up and cheer. Like it would have been a rout. Like just wow.
I wonder if the producer even thought of that, or if there was a reason why they
I
didn't
don't know
do
how
it.
they didn't. I'm literally telling her what the flashback should have been, what he should have said, how he referenced his father, went to
Like,
whatever. And I'm like, that would be
the closing
And
of it,
I get
but-
goosebumps talking about it. I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about how it should have ended. They so missed an opportunity. And one day after you watch it, let me know, and I'll tell you what I was going to say. And there's a certain amount of time, maybe we'll cover it on the podcast. It's just so new, I don't want to do it yet and do a spoiler alert. But my God, it was a good movie, but they missed it being an all-timer by not ending in the way that they should have ended, because it would have been, especially for people who saw the first, and many people put that as one of their top 5 movies of all time. Gladiator is on many people's top 10, right? The opportunity they missed with the nostalgia that people feel for that original one, the connection to the father and what it would have just, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. They so screwed the ending, and not because the ending was terrible. It just wasn't great, but they just screwed it. It would have been,
Yeah.
screwed it up. But Lion King,
We haven't seen
Top
it.
5, top 10 movie of all time, in my opinion. I'm talking about the original Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every time Mufasa is laying on the ground and Simba walks over, Dad,
Oh, look
Yeah, I
at
can't-
Jared.
I
even
root
watch
for
it. I
him.
know.
I'm like, this is the time it's going to happen.
Wake up, wake up.
Disney remastered this. He is going to, I'm good, you know? Like, I'm good, you know? Like, it's,
Poor Jared.
That was a close one.
Yeah,
You know? Dust myself off.
gotta shake that off, you know? And I know it ruins the rest of the movie if that were to happen, but you know, man, but that's a movie right there. Coming back to the Pride Land, you know? Oh my God. So I'll definitely be seeing, whether with or without kids, I'll be seeing the new Lion King because I loved that movie.
You can take Teddy and teach him.
We should go see it.
Oh my God, I used to listen to that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
The Broadway was
Nobody
good,
saying,
too.
"Do this."
Broadway
I
was
used
really
to.
good.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Dang.
I like the Broadway.
The what?
Broadway.
Yeah, it's
Broadway
like
show
real
is
weird.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen the Broadway show. I mean, it's just amazing. Amazing. Did I ever tell you about the time I went and saw Aladdin on Broadway? And,
was good, too.
What's that?
I've seen that too.
I
It's
posted
good.
that when I was going to Aladdin. You were probably in Aladdin. You looked just like, she looks more like, what's her name?
Jasmine.
Princess
Jasmine than anybody who plays Jasmine.
I wish I did Princess Jasmine.
They're like, what was the makeup like to get ready? I showed up. Like that's pretty much it. But I was going to Aladdin one time, and I was bringing my boys, and I put up a post and said, going to see Aladdin. And the guy who's playing Aladdin writes me back and goes, "You're coming to Aladdin? Do you want to meet the boy? Do you want me to meet the boys? Do you want to come?" I'm like, "What?"
Oh,
like-
how cool.
Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Oh my God! I showed I'm like, "Oh my God!" Da, da, da. And then
That's
true to
exciting.
form, did I do it?
No.
Nope. That's the story of my life. Like, I do not accept like or
So we
call
don't
in
even know if
favors from
that's a true
anything
story.
or anyone. Oh no, my kids saw
just
it.
kidding.
They know it's true. I showed them the message. I'm like, guys, Aladdin wants to say hi to you. You know, they were old enough to know he wasn't actually Aladdin. Just to be clear. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about an amazing real estate tool right now called Mosaik. You know, if you want to take your people off of the portals where they're all hanging out and whatever and into your ecosystem, this is the tool that does that. You know, this is a beginning to end, not a CR, it's not another CRM, it doesn't replace that, but it's a beginning to end system that really looks at the lifetime value of your client and looks at every part of that process and takes care of all of it in a way that's completely transparent. So yes, they've got search, they've got transaction coordination, they've got, you know, even for us when we do things like we teach our students the Core 100, they've got the ability to put those people in there, track what's happening, do all of that in an amazing way. But probably the thing that I love about this more than anything is the transparency. You know, in an industry that keeps talking about transparency, and usually when you hear something over and over again, it means that it's not being done at all. This is actually a transparent tool. This is the first tool that I've seen that actually brings the consumer into the transaction. And I think that is the next level of where we are going within this industry. You know, you hear from so many buyers and sellers that, oh, my agent didn't do anything, or I feel like they're not, and there's not this communication going on. This is the first tool I've seen, almost like the early days of .loop where you had that collaboration, but it was just for the document and the signature. They can do that with the transaction now, not only with the clients, but with the vendors, whoever it is, in an amazing way where they can see every step of what's going on. You can write notes to them back and forth. They can see every part of the paperwork and everything and the way that you decide to show it. It's really the next level of what we need to be doing from a consumer experience perspective so they know what's happening, and more importantly, we drive that lifetime value back to you. So if you haven't yet, guys, this is a tool you're going to hear over and over again. You're going to hear me talk about it because, you know, I really think it's my role to not just, you know, define what the problems or solutions are, but provide the tools that will actually get you there. And while so many tools right now are just check the box and just say you have them, this is one yourself, your team, your brokerage. You know, if you're not on it yet, you need to be. This is not the last you're going to hear about this. They're going to grow astronomically, and this is something you need to get on board with if you're going to operate. If you're going to be one of those people that really overcomes and is that top producer in your area, you've got to have the right tools in place, and Mosaik is one of those right now. So do yourself a favor. Go check out mosaik.io, mosaik.io. Again, mosaik.io. You won't regret it, guys. Send us questions if you do, but this is one of those ones that you're going to look back on and remember, amazing tool. Anyway, that's off track.
Okay, let's start. Let's
This
get
is
into
where
the
we're
real
going to
thing.
talk a little bit. We got some real estate stuff that's actually really important to talk about. We've got some other things that have happened outside of real estate. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a United CEO that was taken down. There's some drones hovering over the U.S. Disney's requiring masks again in 2025. There's all these different things. But the thing that I want to talk about now that really relates to the real estate field, it's not just about real estate, but it is, it affects real estate, is you have these TCPA rules that are going into effect on January 27th. And these TCPA rules are going to drastically affect the real estate industry. I'm actually thinking, I'm going to do like a quick overview of this right now. I think that there's some stuff that's still unclear. There's a lot that's unclear. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to actually have my buddy Dan Stewart, who kind of specializes in this stuff. I'm going to bring him on with our Academy members and do a special episode just for them.
That'd be awesome.
What does it mean? How do you get around it? I mean, that's the point of the Academy, right? Like if you guys are not in the Academy is $99 a month. I go live twice a month. We don't talk about stuff like Lion King and whatever. Although I did bring up horse porn a couple of episodes ago.
That did happen.
That was weird.
That was a weird one.
What was I doing?
I
was
know.
talking, just, guys, I was making a joke about how people love house porn. Is that what it's called?
I think, yeah. I
Real
think
estate
it's-
porn.
Yeah.
Real estate porn, which house porn.
This is so weird.
What's wrong with me?
Oh my
But they
gosh.
call it real estate porn, which is basically looking at Zillow, looking at homes. Like, they call it, that's what it's called, right? And so I talked about, look, guys, you got to understand, people love real estate porn. I mean, they love to look at houses. Even if they're not looking for a house, they love to look at houses. And then one of our people asked me a question about specific to horse farms and whatever. And next thing I know, 10 minutes later, I do a callback and I'm telling them how to, create effective horse porn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now that I think about it, that does not sound right. that is not what we're doing right now. So anyway, though, there's a sale for the Academy. So we have our Jared James Academy, though, that's $99 a month, and I go live twice a month and talk about different things. Right now, we're talking about the 10 different ways that I would dominate in your market. I think we're on number 5 or 6. We've got courses on the Academy. We have an app, Jared James Academy. We've got an AI Jared bot where you can ask questions. We've got a community that's only for that community. We've got our coaches putting information, teaching content. We've got new courses being added. It's only $99 a month. And so one of the purposes of that Academy is that we're going to do sporadic calls too. And so this is one of those things when we talk about the TCPA that we're going to do a specific call just for our Academy members. That's going to be very important, that we'll break down. I think I'm going to bring on a guest like Dan and just interview him and say, what's actually going on? What does it mean? How do we adjust? And so to give you an idea, the new TCPA rules that are going in, it's like telecommunications something, that are going in January 27th, it's going to require one-to-one consent. Meaning that, and I'm reading off of a site right now, meaning that before contacting a potential client, a real estate agent must obtain explicit permission from each individual customer, preventing them from relying on broad, generic consent from lead generators or third-party sites, which means agents need to be more diligent in how they acquire leads and verify consent before making contact. This is intended to reduce unwanted telemarketing calls and protect consumers from excessive solicitations, okay? Let's look at this. The key points about the rules as it regards to real estate prospecting. First off, I want to make sure everybody knows, as far as like those like dialers, where you're dialing 3 and 4 people at a time, my understanding of this right now, and I'm still looking into it deeply, no longer allowed. Like, this is going to drastically impact many of these companies that we work with. I don't want to name their names right now, but like have built multi-million-dollar businesses on people using their dialers. You cannot use those dialers, because like in our industry, you'd be dialing 3 and 4 people at a time that are expireds or for sale by owners or whatever it is. Those recorded messages where you call and now there's a recorded message, or if you go straight to their voicemail and it gives a recorded message, no longer allowed as of January 27th. And I started thinking about this, by the way. This is on topic but off topic. You said to me yesterday, and you were like, why am I getting so much spam? How come there's so much spam coming into my phone? Why am I getting so many calls? Have you noticed the number of calls from spam have increased the last couple of weeks? Have you noticed that?
Yes, I have.
I put that together this morning. I was thinking about this, and I'm like, oh, that's called Last Stand. all of these marketers, all of these spam marketers that have been using robo-dialers and just trying to spam the crap out of you, they know that they're on their last leg, and as of January 27th, they're not going to be able to do it anymore. And so they know that right now they have 1 month to spam the crap out of America, and that is what they are doing right now.
Wait, so is it robo-dialers and automated messages, or like even if it's a live person, they can't do it?
Okay, so we're going to get to that. Well, yes and no. So even a live person is supposed to have consent. Explicit consent. What does that even mean? We're going to get into that, okay? Like, there's a lot to
Move
this.
your mic from your sweater.
What's that?
It's rubbing against your sweater, the mic.
And so we're going to get into what that actually means as far as explicit consent. But guys, the other thing that's going to happen too, we are now going to see all of these third-party lead sites. This affects these lead generation sites within our industry. When you look at your Zillows and Realtor.coms and Homes and all these different places that are providing leads to 12 different agents, no longer allowed. No individual lead from a specific source can be given to multiple agents, multiple potential prospects. Like, it can't happen anymore. And so what that means is, on one end, it's a good thing, because it means that when you get a lead from a specific source, it is now going to only go to you, and you will be the only one following up from that source. It also means that the cost is probably going to go up, because if they can't sell it to 12 different people, then that one person has to pay the cost. And I thought about this, and I would think, and I would love to hear from the agents and the brokers who listen to me, I think that most of them would have no problem paying a higher amount knowing that they're the only one reaching out. Because I would think the conversion ratio would be so much better. You're not competing with 10 other agents. And so that's interesting. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments whether that's how you view it or not how you view it. But that's a huge thing. The other key points of these TCPA rules around real estate prospecting. There's stricter consent requirements. Agents can no longer assume consent based on a general inquiry or a lead purchase from a third party. Think about that. Just because somebody came from a site doesn't mean that you can assume that you have consent. They must obtain explicit individual consent from each potential client before contacting them. It's going to be interesting to see how the third parties are going to provide for that. Whether there's going to be an additional agreement they sign, whether there's going to be a box there's got to be something now. Now there's going to be an added layer, because apparently filling out,
or the third parties cannot get their hands tied to it and be like, hey, here's the lead, and it's up to you to cross-reference. I'll provide the lead, but Jared, you need to
but if they
cross-reference
do
and
that, then how do they charge for the lead? You see what I'm saying?
They provided the lead. I mean, they scrubbed it and they got it, right?
Right, and they can only give it to one prospect, remember?
Correct, but then you have to cross-reference and make sure that they are.
Yeah, that's interesting, because no one would pay for that lead. Nobody would do that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to do that. The other parts are, there's one-to-one consent principle. That means that a consumer must specifically agree to be contacted by a particular real estate agent, not just a generic real estate company. Like, this is getting how? It's going to be increased compliance burden. Real estate agents need to carefully document how and when they obtain consent for potential clients to ensure compliance with TCPA regulations. The impact on lead generation, real estate agents may need to diversify their lead generation strategies, as relying heavily on third-party lead providers could become more, there's all this kind of potential legal repercussions. They say that if you break the rules, there's going to be extreme fines. There's going to be, all that kind of stuff, right? And there's a thing I'm looking at right now that basically tells you the things that, you can do to try to stay in compliance. I'm not going to go over that because I think it's guessing at this point as far as what needs to happen. When you read the rules, it specifically mentions robo-dialers. And so I went and looked it up.
So what do they? Yeah.
And I was like, so does this only, is it only about robocalling? Meaning like, does this only apply to the robocalling, or is this overall? And so I went and looked it up, and it says, yes, the new TCPA laws can affect non-robocalling prospecting, particularly when it comes to making pre-recorded messages to landlines, as recent updates limit the number of non-marketing, non-telemarketing pre-recorded calls allowed per month without explicit consent, even if the calls are not made using an automated dialing system. And so that's interesting, because it mentions that, but it talks about pre-recorded. So then you get into, well, can I do one-to-one prospecting of circle prospecting around a neighborhood.
It's interesting how they say landlines too. Like, how many of us have landlines?
I know. That's why you get.
Like,
that's why
I mean,
you hear
they're
me.
specific to property land lines. No one has that.
That's why you hear me
it's
being
very
kind
rare.
of coy about this and saying I'm giving you the overhead, but I'm digging into it deeper, and I'm going to bring on an expert on our academy to really go into it in more depth.
What's Dan's background in this? Like, how you're saying he's the I don't know this.
Yeah, this is like what he. So his whole thing.
What's Dan's
when you look at Happy
expert?
Grasshopper, right? Happy Grasshopper, who our buddy Dan Stewart runs, specifically is all about communicating with people, whether that be through email, whether that be through phone. He does.
I didn't know it was through phone. I thought it was more email and
He does
social.
auto text. He does auto voicemail that comes from
I
you.
didn't know that.
He does all those things, and so he was talking to me about this 6 months ago. He mentioned it a little bit at our advance. And so he and I were talking about this 6 months ago, and we did a video on it, and I did a reel on it. It got hundreds of thousands of views, but it was still kind of like wishy-washy what it's going to be, and now it's starting to get clearer as we get closer. We're only a month away now. And so Dan stays very close to these things. He understands them, he reads on them, he watches them, and because they affect his business. They affect the products that he is offering to other people, And so I'm gonna kind of lean on him a little. I'm gonna do my own research, look at it, and then lean on him a little bit and see what's going on. But it becomes interesting because twofold. Number one, are we still able to one-to-one circle prospect around a neighborhood? Because there is a argument to be made that when a property comes up in a neighborhood, you're not soliciting by letting the neighbors know. You're actually just giving them information they want. Like, that's information they're going to want to know. The solicitation comes if you sell them or you try, like those kinds of things. And so that now puts the onus back on the coaching company. What is the verbiage that is allowable to have a conversation in a way that does not break the rules, but leaves open the idea or leaves open the door for them to go to the next level and invite you to take that next step with them. And so that's where the onus is going to be on people like me and stuff, like it's when it comes to the actual, like the telecommunication, all that kind of stuff, I'm going to go to Dan and whatever. But one of my expertise is, contrary to all the joking around we do on this podcast, I am good with words and good with, how to get us to a place, and how I always say the quality of your answer is determined by the quality of the question you ask, and how powerful individual words are, right? I went on for years and talked about how, if you don't believe words are powerful, next time your spouse says, I love you, look back and say, I like you too, and see how that goes. I talk about on the stage and I say, don't use words like but, because that's a disagreeable word. Yeah, but, use words like and also, because that's agreeable. It's bringing in, it adds on to it, doesn't take away. And, I do, that's like where how my head works. That's how I was created. And so I need to know the framework of what it is so that I can start to create the framework of what needs to be for our students, and what it is we're going to start teaching. Because whenever any of these things happen, there's a couple of different ways that you respond. And many people hear this stuff and they panic because it's away from the known. It's the unknown. And they go, that's not what I'm used to. That's not what and they start to panic. I get excited because whenever I see a rule change that looks difficult or looks like it makes things more challenging, I always remind myself that if it changes for me, it changes for everyone. And now we're back to the chessboard. And we're all playing the same game, which means I'm bringing my talents, my skills, my go. And so now it's not about my ability to freak out or not freak out. It's about my ability to pivot. And I love the idea, the opportunity to figure out the pivot, to teach and train on the pivot while the rest of the industry is not pivoting and they're staying the same and they're panicking. And that's what I'm particularly looking forward to, and I think is going to be an opportunity for us and going to be an opportunity for our students in the academy, both the academy students. Academy, by the way, is our academy. It's our one-on-ones. They're all grouped together. Anybody who's a student of ours, one-on-one, whatever it is, they're all part of the academy. Okay, it's just different levels that are available. But I am excited to dive into this. And by the way, guys, I wouldn't normally even bring this stuff up if I didn't fully dive in yet. But I think that's part of the joy of a podcast. Is that I love not always bringing you guys the finished product and going like, you ever notice when people talk about like their weaknesses or talk about whatever, it's always I used to? I used to struggle with this. It's always used to. Like nobody ever has any current issues, right? Everybody's always got it figured out now. Everybody's relationship is always perfect now, but we used to really struggle with this, but now, and then you find out later, now was used to, and they still had now this, but they just wouldn't talk about it because they look at it as weakness. Like that's how people operate. And so for me, the podcast is like such an opportunity to be able to say, hey guys, I'm looking into this right now. And you're going to see a finished product, and a lot of people are going to see a finished product and go, wow, that's good. Oh, look how he comes up with stuff. Like he's always seems to have the answers, and not understanding the work that goes in of like, no, we're going to get in the lab and start to figure this out. And so the podcast to me is like such a cool opportunity to talk directly to our audience, for those who care enough to listen, to hear about our top 10 movies of all time and say, hey guys, I'm getting in the lab right now. Like I'm going to start figuring this out. And then when we release it to you guys, it'll be good. It'll be, whatever. But I'm going deep dive on this right now and saying, hey, what's it mean? How do we adjust? How do we pivot? And that's one of my roles in this industry, is helping you pivot, So I'm excited about it. Most people probably aren't.
That's just so interesting to me. Because if I was in real estate, I would never pick up a phone and cold call, ever. Grace and I were talking about that yesterday, like how he was cold calling. I'm like, I would never do that.
Keep in mind,
not,
though, that
not
would
my
not...
personality. It's not who I am. I would never change who I am to like try to succeed in like, especially as an independent contractor. I would do it the way that represents who I am. Like this is me.
You're a relational
person.
Yeah.
Like there's a girlfriend of mine in the Valley that I just showed Grayson this yesterday. She closed her book of business this year, closing $19 million in real estate, not making one cold call, not buying one lead, not doing door to doors or doing flyer, nothing like that. Everything was very relational and building her brand through social media, period. Is how she got all her business, was through social media. And she was actually in the audience on Friday when you were there, or Tuesday when you were there. When I wanted her to meet you. But that would be me. Like I would never do door to door. I would never, it's just not who I am.
Yeah.
And so it'd be curious to know how many people actually like cold call. Yes, I understand.
So much to say about this.
Yes, I understand there's teams.
Yeah.
I would hire a Grayson to cold call.
Right.
And they would be like, yeah, I cold call. No. You hire people to cold call. You don't cold call. You hire people. Or yes, you have a past client or whatever. But I also wonder, I bet you it's harder to get a return phone call than it is to cold call. Like how many of those actually return your phone calls? Because I look at these calls. If you are not in my phone, 10 out of 10 times, I will not answer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'll look at it, be like, cool. Great. Either it says spam or it'll say someone's name, first and last name, and I'll look at it. Don't know who you are. I'm not answering it. And quite honestly, if I pull it up right now,
I go one step further.
I'm
like, if you're not sitting at this table or my two boys, I probably don't pick up.
I have 34 voicemails. I'll go through it and I'll look and I'll read the voicemail. And if it's nothing of interest, like that pertains to me, or if I even know, I will just delete. I don't even listen to them. I'll just read it. So it's almost like I wonder how far, like at what point does, like, I don't know. I don't know what the return.
I have a lot.
So it's so interesting. So like you go deep dive. As a coach, you go different. You're like, ooh, I want to deep dive and I want to talk about how we could pivot and whatever. I'm like, it's more tech. Like what could we do on a tech side to implement AI to kind of go over? Like I'm all tech to bypass even a freaking phone call. Let's get to them in a different way. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because like quite honestly, the way that people communicate is changing. It's not going to be through a phone because it's so good now to the point where they identify if there is any relation to you and that person that's calling. Mm-hmm. And if there's no relation to me and that person, there is no reason for me to actually pick up. Yeah. Unless there's like, I don't know, it's an accounting person, or if it's the county of Fresno, or if it's the school district, and it puts it, then there's a reason and urgent for me to call. But if it's some random person, I'm not going to pick it up.
I have so much to say here.
100% of the time.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like and right now too. You and I have been online searching quite a bit, and we're in a position of possibly selling my home, possibly renting. What's my home worth? You know how many of those leads have been sold like putting my property address in.
Yeah.
You know how many calls I'm probably getting from
Yeah.
realtors that I have not answered?
No doubt. No doubt.
Like I'm never going to answer, like so I always wonder about that too.
Yeah. But keep in mind now, okay, so I have a lot to say about this.
I'm not bashing you guys, okay?
No, that's not what I mean, not what I mean.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just so curious now because technology has changed and the way that transactions and like people
completely.
have changed. It's just.
All right, let me unpack this. So, first off, relationships are multi-layered, meaning I don't pick up the phone unless I have a relation, whatever. Okay, well, if you go on a site and fill out information and then somebody's calling you from that site, there is relationship at that moment because you just requested something from that. And so that's a different level of relationship. It's not a friend, but whatever it is, right? Cold calling is also a broad term. So when you look at what Grayson was doing over the summer, he was calling leads who opted in and wanted to be. They're not just randomly calling a neighborhood or doing a whatever. They are calling, like, that's a different thing, right? And so the actual just cold calling, just randomly calling people, I actually am not a big fan of and don't think that it's much of, I don't think it's very effective and I think we just call it cold calling, but it's not. What I have so much to say about is there's so many agents out there, like what you just described, that are doing 19 million in volume. And they go, all I do is referrals and relationships, whatever. And the coach side of me just goes two things.
Do so much more.
Two things.
Yeah,
Number one, awesome. Like you, awesome. Good for you. Like you're running an awesome business. If you're happy with that, go for that. The coach side of me rises up and goes, yeah, that's one line in the water. You're missing so much more right now. And I think it's so important for people to remember, I used to talk about this, and I think I'm going to come back to it again, where I would talk about the idea, and I really believe this, that you have to look at your business and you have to say, do I own my business or do I rent my business? Would I build my business on rented land? And nobody listening to me would build their home on rented land because at any moment, if they decided to take that land back, all the money you spent on that home was an absolute waste. You don't control the subject of where that property is. And we have to start to look at our business that way. And we have to say, hey, do I own the land? And a lot of times when I say that, people go, oh, so you're not for paying for Zillows. You're not for paying for it. You're not for, no. Owning your business or owning the land your business is built on or renting it doesn't matter as much about the source of where leads are coming from or where transactions are coming from. It's about what you do with them once you get them, okay? Yeah. So I have no problem with people buying leads or doing, as long as they're not just buying those leads, closing those leads, moving on, and then looking for the next thing, and that person just moves on and becomes one of those high percentage of people that uses someone else next time they buy or sell. If you buy that lead, if you get that lead through a referral, if you prospect for that lead, if you meet that lead at an open house, whatever your situation is, if that lead, even if it was purchased, you paid a referral on it, whatever it was, now goes into your database and begins to get nurtured, and you have a business set up and a system set up in a way where you are nurturing the right side of the transaction post-close to where now you realize the lifetime value of that client for the rest of their life with all of the business they do, with all of the people they refer, with all of I don't care where the lead came from, you've built your business on owned land because ultimately it came into your land, which was your database. And so whenever I hear about someone going, hey, all I did is referrals, I say, kudos, good for you. You're running a good business. You must be good with people. My mind starts to go, hey, that's one line. I would still be buying leads and doing these things and have a system in place to convert them. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, those referrals you're building your business on, those leads you purchased over here, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, year and a half, 2 years from now, when they refer you, when they work again, when they whatever, they're now part of your referral business. But where did they come from? And so I would look at throwing more lines in the water of how do I grow what it is that I do well already, which is relationships. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, it matters what it turns into based on how I cultivate it, And so that's my feelings on that when we talk about buying leads or doing cold calling or doing, whatever. Even what we call cold calling, I'm not for, just randomly calling people and being like, hey, I got somebody looking, no. You need to have some kind of context built in, meaning you have a house or a house listed in the area. And hey, would you like to, your neighbor's property was listed. Would you like to know more about it, that you can't find online? And now they're like, yeah. And then you're able to go, the two questions you want to know is, hey, nobody sells a neighborhood like the neighbors. Is there anybody you know who's been wanting to get in here that I can tell about it, that we can get them information maybe quicker and answer questions they can't find online? And now they're telling you, my brother wants to get in the neighborhood, or my whatever. No, you don't know anybody? Awesome. By the way, your neighbor's property being listed or your neighbor's property selling, whichever the situation is, may have changed the value of your home. Would you like to know how it may have changed? And now they're like, what? May have changed? And they think their value went up when all you said was it may have changed. But now you're in a situation where you are potentially being able to give them a value of their property for somebody who's thinking of selling. I am for that kind of prospecting every day of the week, okay? And that would technically be called cold calling, but it's warm in the sense that you're bringing value. You're bringing them something they want. And when we talk about these TCPA rules, that's where my questions lie. Is if you're bringing something of value to these people, if you are, telling them about something going on in the neighborhood, or telling them about their neighbors, whatever, or you're telling them about an open house coming up and you're inviting them to that, or you're, whatever it happens to be. Hey everyone, I want to take a moment and talk to you about a really cool company called Privy. If you were listening to this episode or even moving forward here, you're going to notice that I'm going to talk a lot about investors and how I think this is a huge part of the market that if you're growing a real estate business, we're not paying enough attention to. I'm a big believer here that sometimes to grow your business, you don't just have to pick up a piece of the pie that's already there. Sometimes you have to go to a completely different pie. And it's so interesting because when you look at it, you look at all the data and you see that, 26, 27%, almost 30% of all residential transactions in the last 12 months were investors, right? They were investors. And when I was an agent, like a ton of the business that I did were investors. And so a lot of you hear that and you're like, oh, it's institutional investors. Do you know institutional investors only make up about less than 3% of the overall market? And that's actually going down for the first time in years, which means that we have this huge number of people who are buying and selling properties all of the time, right under our nose, thousands of transactions. They're going to happen regardless. The only question is, are they happening with you? And that's the key thing that I want you to understand. And so when you look at Privy and what they do, they make you the go-to person to work with when it comes to finding investments, when it comes to finding out what a good deal is, when it comes to finding out what the right neighborhoods are, what the wrong neighborhoods are, what previous people had did, all at the touch of a button, right? And so all of a sudden, it's funny, I look at their stuff and I'm like, I worked with all these investors when I was selling real estate, and I'm like, how did I do this without this kind of a tool? And you don't have to do that. Now these kinds of tools are there. And so you're going to hear me in the future talking a lot about working with investors and what that looks like. And like I've said over and over again, it is my job to not only tell you what the problems are and what the solutions are, but ultimately to give you the tools that you need so that you can be the go-to source for something like that. And man, are these people worth a lot of money to you. So do yourself a favor, guys. Go to privy.pro. That's privy.pro. Amazing tool. You can ask us questions. There's more things even coming down the road with them that are just going to blow you away. But this is a tool you need in your business, especially for what it costs. It's not a cost, though. It's an investment, but it's well worth it. Let's start getting those investors. So if you're bringing them something of value and you're giving them information they might want to know about, whether that's coming to an open house that's going to be in their neighborhood, or that their neighbor's property is listed, there's information you might want that you can't find online, or whatever that is that going to fall under the guidelines of these new TCPA rules? That's what I need to figure out, because I understand why these rules go into effect, and I think we're all happy about the idea that we can stop getting these robocalls that have nothing to do with anything that we want. I don't need to know that, my car insurance is expiring at the end of the year or whatever it is, right? But I also know that they do it for the consumer, and not being able to let a consumer know about something going on in their local community, in their local neighborhood, an open house that's going to happen, or whatever it is not in the benefit of the consumer. And so that's the stuff where I want to go deep dive and say, hey, where does this apply here? Where does this apply here? What's the workaround? Maybe it's allowed, but you got to use this verbiage. Maybe it's this, whatever. And so we got to figure that part out. And I guess I'd say the story continues into 2025. It's like we all have to be attorneys still. What words do we use? How do we do whatever? And it's just like, I start talking about that and I just get annoyed. But again, the more difficult it is, the easier it becomes to succeed for those who learn the skills, work on themselves, and be the pro that the consumer needs. So we're all playing on the same chessboard. What piece are you? How good are you? And that's what it's going to come down to. So, anything else to say about that before I move forward?
No, sir.
All right. That was the big real estate thing I wanted to talk about. Do you want to talk even about, I don't know, because it's kind of like they found this guy, whatever. Everybody was obsessed over this time frame with the
CEO.
The assassination of the CEO of United
The only
Healthcare.
thing I want to talk about, I mean, it's all over the place. I mentioned this the other day. It's like, it's crazy how people are making like a mockery of it, like making
That ticks
memes.
me off. Ticks me off.
That is what I'm not like. Is more bothering than anything like else. They're joking about it.
They're happy about it. Like I'm seeing all this stuff online, and I don't know the guy. And I don't know what kind of guy he is, stand-up guy, not stand-up guy. I know he's got a family and kids.
He's
and
divorced.
The idea that
I think he was divorced. He's divorced.
Whatever it is, anybody being shot
whichever,
down
from
behind in public, I don't care if it's public, not public, the idea that we are cheering this on and joking about it, you know, this guy screwed everybody and, you know, whatever, and like, that is sick. And I said, two wrongs don't make a right. And I don't know if he's wrong. I don't know him. None of us know him. But the idea that there is any inkling in us that cheers a man being shot in broad daylight from behind is just, there's a difference between like Chris Rock stand-up on SNL, a comedian talking about it and going, it's sick what people, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da. But you know, sometimes drug dealers get shot. That's a comedian being funny, and I'm all for it. What was happening online was, first off, every woman wanting to sleep with him, the killer, you know.
I know. I was saying that.
And oh, he's a good-looking killer. And then we saw him for real, and I'm like, is he really? You know, he looked a lot better with a hood on. And then like celebrating the idea that he stepped out and killed the like, what is wrong with us?
And then you have food chains. Burger King put a thing out saying, we don't snitch.
We don't, like, sick though. We're talking,
know? And
look,
I'm like, oh
we're
my
talking about
gosh.
a human
I know.
that just got shot down, who is connected to people, who has family members, that is freaking sick that is even an acceptable response in our society.
They just brought him back to New York yesterday for prison.
Yeah.
And it was like this whole scene, and it's all over social. Yeah. And people are welcoming him back and putting posts and like doing like some women are putting like side profile or photos and how gorgeous he is and all this stuff.
He's
and
really
like,
not though. When you see him now, he's really not.
Oh my, he's a freaking killer.
That's
he's
exactly
a killer.
right. He's a killer. Yeah.
You guys, like, come on.
Yeah, he's a sick individual.
He's a bad person.
Demented.
He's just a bad person, and he shouldn't be celebrated.
Who planned out, premeditated the murder of another human being.
I know.
Which will change nothing.
Whatever. The only thing about that's just what's disturbing about the whole thing. It's unfortunate that it happened. I think I told you when I was in air flying here, I'm like, oh my goodness, did you hear what happened? And you're like, what?
I get so disconnected from things.
I know. And I only heard it because I was looking at stocks and I saw it. But yeah, it's very disturbing.
Well, by the way, on another note, your former company, that got caught with just a ton of fraud, and their parent company, not your company, the parent company, got caught with a ton of fraud, a ton of whatever, like just like of monumental, like hundreds of million, like the whole thing. And you're connected to some of these founders, like you know who they are, you know the whole thing, right? Was there ever a concern, because they just got sentenced? Yeah. And there was a part of me that actually like thought to myself when I was looking at this United CEO thing and everything else, like, I hope nobody in your area is going to do something crazy, because they're walking out in public after getting sentenced, ruining people's lives, taking away their livelihoods, stealing from their retirement funds, doing whatever. And I'm like, that's when that kind of crazy stuff happens. It actually went through my head, and I'm like, I hope to God nobody does something stupid after I watched these people cheer on, this other one who did it.
First of all, you never know how crazy someone can be. And I feel like, the Bitwise Industries, which actually they were known nationwide. We had, I don't know how many locations we had, but we were across the nation. We had Ohio, we had Buffalo, New York. We were going into Chicago. We had Texas. We had quite a few like how
Takes
what
one
level of
crazy.
crazy
Takes
their
one
crazy
crazy.
is, right?
Look, someone
So
killed
they-
John Lennon because they loved him.
So they got their sentence, and their sentence is Irma got, who is the founder, 9 years, and Jake got 11 years. They gave him 11 years because he knows better. He was an attorney,
right?
He knows better.
Yeah.
But you never know. People want blood.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That is not enough, like, for them.
Yeah.
And so hopefully not. I think they have so many days until they have to turn themselves into the marshal or the county, or maybe they show up at their house and they take them. Not sure how that works. But I pray to God it doesn't get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough too, because you're connected to one of the founders, and their family goes to Ari's gymnastics.
Yeah,
and
our
it's just
girls
a
have
tough
been close.
situation, because, like, on one hand, he in particular did wrong. I think he knows he did wrong. I think he got caught up in it all, and didn't fully, like, not understand, but, like, just got caught up in it all.
He admit to it. It's like, you're into it. It's gambling. You get into it, and you get into it too deep, and you're really good at it. You keep doing a little more. But the thing is, and they admitted, even the court said this, they never kept any of it.
Yeah.
It was literally money that was put back into the company and put back into payroll, and so it's the reason why they're not getting the 20, 30 years of whatever.
My point in saying that was, when you look at the years they got, the point I was going to was that, on one hand, look, there has to be consequences and everything else,
absolutely.
and whatever. This is going to be controversial, but, like, I don't think, like, he's a bad guy. Like, when you meet him, I think he got caught up. But now you look at it and you're like, okay, his daughter, who does gymnastics with Art, is going to grow up without her father now.
I know.
And that is just
I can't even
heart-wrenching.
think about that. She'll be in college.
She'll
be out of college by the time he gets out of prison.
Heart-wrenching. Weren't we just talking about that yesterday? We were saying how, like, people, like, they go from, like, being on top of the world, whatever, next thing you know, they're going to prison and not going to see their kids. What was the other situation we were looking at? Same thing. Where they were
No, we were talking about the Chicago governor.
Yes, the Chicago governor who was on Rogan.
Yes.
Same situation. He's the governor of Illinois. Years ago, many of you won't remember this, very political, at the same time that Obama was there and everything else. And for those of you who don't know, Chicago politics are the most corrupt in the country, the most corrupt. And he was, dealing with Obama, and everybody thought Obama was going to be the next guy, so everybody was protecting him, and, like, he's going to be the guy who's going to be president and whatever. And they went after this guy, the governor. And I don't know any of the people personally. I don't know if he did anything wrong, not did anything wrong. Of course, if you hear his story, he's like, they set me up. This is whatever. Obama was doing this too, and this was happening. And who knows what's right? We're not there. My point is that same situation. He had young daughters. And he goes from being on top of the world, I'm the governor of Illinois, I appoint everything that happens here. He's working back deals with Obama when Obama's going to move on and run for president. Obama wants to appoint who the next person is that's going to take over. So they're making a deal behind the scenes as far as, I'll give you this, you give me that, whatever it is. And next thing you know, he goes from being on top of the world, negotiating with the future president Obama, to turning off the lights in his home so that the press can't see him saying goodbye to his daughters and his wife as he's about to get taken away for the next 20 years.
It's crazy how he sets it up, though.
Just the human side, forget about how you feel about it, how you whatever. The human side of me just goes, oh my God.
Well, I
missed my kids for a week.
He even says, like, when the marshals came up, and it's like setting the tone for the scene. Like, the marshals came up, it was dark in the room. We had to close the blinds because everyone was looking in. The media was looking in. He's like, my little girl came in her pajamas. I had to kiss her forehead. He even said, I had to be strong so they couldn't see me break. Like, he wanted to cry.
And then he also didn't want the media to see him break.
The media. And then he said that, like, the media followed him on the plane.
They bought plane tickets so they could be sitting next to him. Right when he thought he was going to get a break, they knew which flight. They found out.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he said he showed up to prison early. He said to his driver, let's pull over and get a cup of coffee. He's like, I'm 30 minutes early. I'm about to give them 20 years that I don't deserve to give. I'm not giving them 30 minutes. Extra minutes.
Let's go have a cup of coffee.
And I'm like, and then, like, you're thinking about that. And I literally looked over at you and I said, I can't even imagine what Jake is going to go through, because he's going to go through the same exact thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
and that's why we talked about, so
meaning the
Yeah,
CEO of
the CEO of
Bitwise. Like
Bitwise.
that's just, again,
So,
we're not behind it.
anyways.
We don't know the ins and outs, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the human side of that is just
Like, how do you not have feel?
And then, like I said,
feel
on
that?
one hand, in those situations, like again, we don't know whatever. Like there's repercussions, there's whatever. It's just like
So
God.
so Bitwise.
Thank God I don't do
People are
sentencing.
saying or an attorney that represented the employees in this case for Bitwise are saying hopefully this brings closure to everyone. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, sure, if you wanted them in prison and that brings you closure, then great.
Yeah, I don't
guess.
think you and I are like the type.
But
that
we're
just like,
not.
whatever.
We're not like that does not bring me closure. Money doesn't bring me closure. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. It really is. It's within. Like you really have to do that for yourself. And so no tangible thing.
You already
or
had
no
your
side.
moments. I remember when it
That's
all went down and you like went into mode. You were thinking about your employees. You were thinking about whatever. And then I remember when you had the moment once you were done with them and you were like, and then you realized, oh, I'm out of a job. Oh, everything I just worked for is gone. Oh, and like you had your little breakdown where it was like, okay, this is everything's flipped upside down. What just happened here? At no fault of my own. I had nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
rough. But then you move on. You build something new. I mean, that's where First Up came from.
Yeah. And but you know, it's crazy. I got so many text messages from mixed feelings. I had people that were just like angry. Even people
Former
that
Bitwise employees.
Not even former. I had people that gave money to Bitwise to have them build products that were just
tough.
angry with them still. And I'm like, it is what it is. It's a gamble. It is what it is.
You know, the whole time it was going on, though, I'm saying to you, and I'm going, this is bullcrap. It was just so loosey-goosey. They were just throwing money at things, and everything's free, and you don't pay for any, and everybody's overpaid, and everybody, and I'm like, I'm saying, babe, you can't function as a company like this.
There was an article, Tom, that was quoted. There was an article, and they quoted a gentleman that was on the stand as a victim. He was a victim sharing his story. And he said, I am 75 years of age and I will continue to have to work because of what Bitwise has done, to him. And I looked at
I'm
Jared.
thinking if you were 75 and still working at Bitwise, you have
I'm
not
like,
managed your money
I'm
correctly.
like, that has to do with a personal issue. It had nothing to do with Bitwise.
Sounds like retirement was not planned for prior to
like
this.
75.
Doesn't make it right. He should not have gotten screwed. But I'm just saying, if you're 75 and that affected
if you're listening, no offense to you.
You didn't plan correctly.
Yes, I'm like, that's a little different.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not,
Yeah, anyways, it whatever. But if it brought closure to people, then great. But what are you doing?
You got a hole in your pants. Oh.
Why do you say that?
Because it's 2 days in a row.
Oh, it is not in a row. The first one was on Wednesday. Today's Friday.
It's true. I had lied again. So anyway, that was interesting. Let's talk about aliens, shall we?
Sweet.
Are you following this?
Guys, what the heck with these drones? This is weird, and none of us have answers. But I got to tell you, the response. And if you're listening to this and you haven't seen all these drones, at first it was over New Jersey, and now it's like all over the Eastern Seaboard and whatever. When you really start to get into it, it's pretty freaking freaky that the government, number one, is not telling us what's going on. Government officials are reaching out to higher level government officials going, what the heck? They won't shoot them down. They won't say whether they recognize them, don't recognize them. And then you get these experts coming on and they're going, yeah, that's not from here. And then you get other people going, that's classified. The government won't tell you what's happening, but something's happening. And the fact that the government won't answer and tell us what they know. And then Trump comes out, who, let's not forget, gets briefed. He's the incoming president. So he gets briefed. And if you go listen to the interview with him, he goes, government knows exactly what's going on. They're not going to, they won't tell you. They should tell you. They won't tell you. And then they ask him a further question and he goes, I'd rather not answer. And I'm like, so wait a second, because you're the incoming president. You've been briefed. And you're saying, yeah, they know what's happening. They don't want to tell you what's happening, but they know what's happening. And then they go further and ask some very specific questions about other countries and this and that, whatever. And he goes, I'd rather not answer. And I'm like, this isn't just...
Like, could you really do that?
This
I'm
is
not
not,
gonna
by the way,
answer.
people are like, oh, it's Trump. First off, we saw a more...
That's crazy.
post-assassination, we saw a more level Trump, where he was like more like, I'm going to be a little bit more level-headed here. No matter what, he's the incoming. He sat in briefings and said that. So I'm like, what the crap is going on here?
I don't know. But then you're listening to a podcast that said this has happened now 3 times in a row.
They said that there's 3 years in a row this has happened, but not at this level, not at this scale.
But
so everybody's noticing, and
they're saying
1,000 of them.
Same exact time
And
frame.
then they're going into the water?
Possibly
and
going
leaving?
into the water. I don't know.
Then you get this
weird.
former top official, and he goes, we don't have technology at that level, and neither do our adversaries. What does that mean?
I don't think so.
What does that mean?
I'm just gonna go ahead and
I'm like
lies on that.
I'm like, what is? But then there was a good one. The guy that went on Rogan. I felt good hearing this. This guy who went on Rogan is like a former something or other. He's a big time military guy, whatever. And one of the things they were worried about, one of the things that was being floated was that they were looking for WMDs. That they had a lead that there were WMDs on the eastern seaboard somewhere, and that's why they're there. Like, they are able to detect and whatever. And this guy said that he spoke to his friends in the agency who would be handling that. Like, they would know. They're top classified, like they would be handling. And he goes, unless they're keeping it from the people who would be handling it, it's not that. And everybody just did a collective sigh. Okay, and then we're okay here. But it's just like more lack of transparency. Like, if you're going to fly these things where everybody can see them, tell us what's going on. You almost create more panic by like everybody's just guessing and nobody's seen them like this. And then one of the ones, this is the weird thing. So they're like, oh, they're from the government. But then the government sends up these smaller drones to check them out. Why would a government be sending drones to go look at their own drones? And then when that smaller drone touched the bigger one, it immediately died and fell into the ground. And it's like, there's just so many like, what is happening right now? And I don't know. I have no idea, but it is weird. It is weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild. Makes me want to tune on some X-Files.
Yeah, dude, I knew nothing about any of it. And then people kept going, do you hear about it? Do you hear about it? You hear about it? And then I started looking at it, and I'm going, what the crap is going on right now?
Trust no one, man.
Weird, man. And then I got friends posting videos. They're hovering above my house. They're hovering over here. They're,
Hovering
whatever.
over the airport.
And then that same briefing, Trump goes, but I'll tell you, I'm canceling my trip to blank. Like, in other words, like, I'm not going over there. And he knows what these, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Maybe he's just trying to cut. I don't know.
Cause what? He won. He's going to be the incoming president. There's no reason now to be like, you're not trying to win a vote now.
Nope.
There's none of that.
Never again.
So why wouldn't
honestly.
he share?
Never again.
Then what's the purpose of not sharing then? I'm not going to tell.
Well, I think they asked him a question that was so specific he's not allowed to say at that point, because you get to a point of classified, and you go, rather not answer, can't answer. You know how much stuff those people are told they can't talk about? You know what I mean? When you're the president of the United States,
Elon knows then.
well, if it's classified, Elon's not allowed to know. That's what you said to me.
Elon knows
You were like, why don't they
everything.
get Elon
I mean,
involved?
Elon would
That's
know
what she said to me.
everything.
She goes, when it was the technology, she
I
goes,
feel like
why don't
he
they get
knows
Elon
everything.
involved?
He's a tech. He literally knows everything tech-wise. He owns the
probably
freaking
built them.
satellites.
If I built them.
He freaking owns the universe.
Talk about
He owns the universe.
I mean, he would be
He's like, I will shoot them down, and he
"Ah,
just thinks about it.
I know what that's.
They're
That's
gone.
what that was. Yeah. When it touched, that was Elon thinking
I
about
mean,
it.
like, he would absolutely know what that is. And if he didn't know what that is, he could figure something out that could go up there, build it real quick. He will have his team build it.
This is what she
in
said
3
to me.
days,
So she goes,
go up there, figure it out, and then.
Trump's friends with Elon now. Why don't you just get Elon involved?
I mean, I'm pretty sure what's his name is friends with Elon too. Podcasting. Why did I just blank?
Rogan?
Yeah.
Oh, he is actually. They've been on several
Why
times.
doesn't he just reach out to him and be like, dude,
remember,
what is it?
Rogan may be.
Get him.
Rogan may be.
Oh, here, right here.
The geese are back?
Yeah, the
geese are back. Grayson, we got a gun, but get the dog out there. Get the
Yeah, but you
dog.
have
No,
to-
it's going to take too long. It's going to take too long. There's a side thing going on here.
You have to soak him though.
Grayson, get the dog out there. Every moment,
The
I
Orbeez are in
got
there.
100 geese taking a doo-doo.
Does it look like 100 geese?
Get them out there.
Oh, take a picture.
Well, no, they have a leader who comes up first.
Oh yeah, no, there they go. There they go. Yeah.
Are they 100?
They're flying.
Is it 100?
I don't know. I can't. I don't see 100.
Yeah.
Well, no, first they don't all come at once. Like if
Oh,
you
they
wait
don't
too
all
long,
come
then
at
they
once.
come up. But they send up patches. Like there's a leader who stands tall and he waits.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very coordinated.
Yeah.
They are.
Very.
I hear them. All right, we're gonna get back to our podcast. Quiet down. Get the dog and quiet down. So here's my point. Elon, no matter how smart he is, no matter how whatever, he doesn't get classified information. That's not legal. Like, he's not allowed to share things with him that he's not sharing with other people, okay? So that is absolutely not happening. We would love to get them involved. I mean, I don't know. We don't know who to get involved because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
We're not being told what's happening in our country. Like, I want to know what's happening. Anyway.
Elon said he needs to learn a little bit more about the business before he could respond regarding the drones. There you go.
About the business?
About the Air Force business, Air Force secretaries stuff.
Now that sounds like a guy who's coming in and going to be a part of government. That's a different thing.
I wonder.
You wonder what?
I wonder if he will be involved in government somehow.
Well, he is. He's running Doge.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Department of Government Efficiency.
I'm
Him and Waswami, or whatever his name is, his job is to cut $2 trillion worth of spending in government, whatever. They post almost every day on X. This much money is going towards this. This much is going towards this. This much is going towards this. Their job is to cut government spending. You didn't know that?
No.
Wow. Trump literally ran on the idea that he was going to take the guy we're talking about right now,
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, and I don't know how to say his name. Waswami, the guy ran for president. I'm not sure how to say his name, and they're forming this thing called Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. So that's that. All right. Last but not least.
Yes.
I saw a thing that I find unbelievable, but I'd love to hear from you guys as far as what you think on this. Disney, with no threat of any new disease, with the research we have on how masks worked last time, has now said that in 2025 they are requiring masks again.
For what reason?
Exactly.
Maybe it has
we
to
don't
do with
know?
the drones.
We don't know
Maybe.
the reason for this?
No, they're just doing it. Oh, no, we did hear the reason.
Okay, what's the reason?
To protect their workers.
From what?
That's all I got
so
for you.
confused.
That's all I got for you.
So we have to wear masks for
Everyone
them?
is now going to have to wear masks in Disney starting in 2025. 2024, December 31st, safe. 2025.
Are you kidding me?
Because their workers have decided that they don't feel safe and they want everybody wearing masks.
Seriously?
Yep, that's a real thing. Go Google it.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if I go anywhere, it's going to be universal.
So their workers are required to wear masks.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Oh my god.
There is no threat. There is no nothing. Just, I don't understand it.
Are they still
from
limiting how many people can enter parks still?
I don't understand it from a business perspective. There's no threat. Like, you're going to have people like me. I am not going to a place and wearing a mask.
Maybe they're planning to plant the virus.
Maybe they're planning. But you know what I mean, though? Like, why would you do that? You're going to take a majority of this country and they're going to go, screw you.
They're going to lose so much money.
So much money.
They're already
maybe
pulling back
maybe
on
the parks are
hours.
overcrowded and they're trying to thin them out.
That could be it, yeah.
You know, like, I don't know, but like, I'm telling you right now, I go to Orlando and that's the deal. And Universal's, we're going to Universal.
Yeah.
I am not wearing a mask in 85-degree weather.
Okay, is it only parks or also like hotels?
Oh, that's a good
Or
point.
is it
think
everything?
I would think it's everything that's Disney owned. That would be me
Are you
personally.
kidding
I
me?
have not looked that part up, but how do you say it has to be in the parks, whatever, but it's not in our Disney resorts?
Yeah, right.
How could it be any
Especially
different?
since those are like
Those
most
are
of
less.
them on
Those
property.
workers will be less safe. Now, look, I don't think they're any less or more safe with it out, but I'm just saying, like, that means they're less safe. Like,
Disney cruises.
I
all
thought
that?
it was a joke. You know what I'm gonna do right now? I thought it was a joke. I'm gonna right now. I'm gonna Google. And by the way, if this is wrong, then we're just gonna tell everybody. Whoop, that was wrong. Is it true that Disney is going to require masks again in 2025? You ready? Breaking. Mousetrap news. 5 days ago. Disney requiring face masks again in 2025. Here we go. Ready? Disney is requiring face masks again in 2025. This is to ensure the safety of their guests and their employees. Disney will be the first company to require masks since the COVID lockdowns. Under this new policy, which starts on January 1st, all guests must wear a protective face mask to enter a Disney World park.
Guests, so not employees.
I'm sure employees are. Hold on. They will be required to wear them at all times inside the park, whether in a building or outside. That goes against all data. There is no risk.
That's crazy. Yeah.
What are they doing?
Oh my gosh.
I did not realize. That's insane. Masks will also be required on Disney transportation and inside Disney resorts.
Yeah.
You know what you should
Hold
do?
on. It's worth noting that Disney isn't doing this because of any specific disease, but rather for the general health of their employees. They see very little downside in requiring masks again, only upside.
Until it's
How tone deaf are you?
I guess they don't care about the money.
How disconnected are you from the public if you think there's no downside? I'm reading this going, are you insane? Like, there's no issue, but I'm going to wear a mask outdoors in 90-degree weather.
in
Especially
March.
in Florida
Hold on.
when it's humid.
However, not everyone loves this new policy. In fact, many people are upset that Disney is requiring masks again. They state that they are inconvenient and pointless to wear. Meanwhile, others think it's great Disney is finally showing they care about their guests and employees' safety again. What? They say that you can never be too safe, and requiring masks is just a start. In fact, they want Disney to take more protective measures, such as wearing safety glasses and social distancing again. Is this a joke?
They must really not want people to be there.
Is
That's-
this
honestly.
a joke? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, if this is...
Hey,
Why don't we all just get in bubbles? Holy crap, I'm looking at...
you know what's gonna suck then? Like, too, if they're gonna do social distancing, that means
Your vaccination status does not matter.
well, that makes no sense then. Why would you social distance?
Am
if
I
your
really
vaccination
reading
doesn't
this?
Matter? But that also means that lines are going to be longer because they're going to skip every other row on carts and rides and everything of social. Everything is back to COVID status when it shouldn't be. Quite honestly, stocks are going to drop though. It's a great time to buy beginning of the year. I'm like, if you want to.
That
Disney stock.
is... Hold on.
That is
Mousetrap
wild.
News fee?
Inside, outside is crazy.
Hold on.
It's an
Hold
April-
on.
April Fool's joke.
Mousetrap News is a fake site.
Yeah, there it is. I
Oh
was gonna
my
say.
gosh, you got Mousetrap News. That's what you read it off of.
That sounds like that would be a Disney, like, you
Everyone
know, what
knows
to know.
Mousetrap is not a real site.
Is that like the Onion? Kind of.
That's why it's called. No,
I got to
everyone
tell you,
knows
I
that.
feel a lot better right now because I'm sitting here going, this can't be real. Like, this cannot be real
gosh,
right now.
you
Like, this
guys.
is like, that is insane. And
Sorry
it was
for
insane.
everyone listening
The
right now.
collective sigh.
Welcome. Hey, guys, in honor of Disney World, welcome to the roller coaster. That was that right there.
Oh my
okay?
gosh.
Oh my God. Like, that was, like, jeez. Okay.
Thank goodness you didn't do a reel on that
You
one.
know what? Thanks to our reporting, they have dropped the policy.
Thank God, babe.
You guys can thank us when
You're
you go to
welcome.
Disney World in 2025.
Disney is so good. They're watching right now. before
You are
it's even-
welcome.
before it's
You
even
are
live.
welcome. Oh my God. Like, that is like, I saw that the other day and I'm like, that can't be. I just put it on the show notes and I'm like, it's gotta. And then I look it up right now. First article. I mean, guys, come on. Mousetrap News, that sounds legit. That sounds like where guests go to learn about Disney. Did you do this thing like,
Mousetrap. I don't know.
Guys, I want everybody listening to understand that when I said it, and I said I'm reading it off of Mousetrap News, not one of you spoke up.
No, we're
don't
like
know about
Mousetrap News. I knew Mousetrap News.
Oh, I
right
don't know
away.
about Mousetrap
Oh,
News.
I knew about it.
Then why would you let me go into all that?
That was the last thing you said.
No, I said it's on Mousetrap News. It's on the video.
That was the last thing.
You were
said.
probably distracted by my son walking around in the background, basically making food as if we weren't shooting a podcast. He wants to speak up so bad, but nobody can hear him. So
No one could hear him.
all right. Anyway, well, we're going to end with falsehoods. That sounds like a good idea.
April
When it comes
Fools.
to Mousetrap News, we have solved the world's problems.
Yes.
You do not have to wear a mask at Disney.
The drones are a real thing, though.
Those are real. Yeah.
Those
Oh,
are
the
real.
drones are 100%
Yeah. So
real.
Elon, if you're listening, please let us know.
Let us know. Yeah.
The TCPA is a real thing.
Very real.
I just want to say, if we're right about 80% of the time on here, that's pretty darn good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, guys, if we don't, I don't know if we're going to shoot another one before the new year or not, but Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, if not, we may or may not. I think we might be releasing some kind of a health thing to do with us, some kind of a training thing, weight loss thing for the new year.
I mean, I want to. I need to feel confident in releasing that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
get people looking like this.
Everything is
little-
set, ready to
Look
go.
at this little fit girl
I just
over
need
here.
to push it out there and be.
Were we doing muscles
confident.
this morning?
Yeah.
You and Grayson were flexing in the mirror.
I know. Who looked better, me or Grayson?
I mean, come on. That was even before there was any flexing.
I loved how Grayson's like, Dad, we're like practically the same size.
We did some muscles, and I have
Flexing?
man muscles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grayson's like, we're the same
Yeah.
size, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. All right. With that being said, guys, any final anything? Anybody?
No, I don't think so. Happy holidays.
Happy
everybody.
holidays, Merry Christmas. What else do we have? We have
New Year's.
Happy Hanukkah.
If we don't talk to you, yeah.
Happy New Year's.
Hanukkah,
Hopefully
yeah,
we'll
all
get a
that.
chance.
Yeah.
Linda and I will be spending our New Year's in beautiful, what's it called?
I mean, Cabo.
Cabo,
Yeah.
Mexico.
Getting some sun.
God. And with that, apparently my son is playing us out on the
Playing us
guitar.
out, yeah.
He's just
Play us some John Mayer.
possible to
Go
be
for
quiet.
it.
Just God. All right, guys. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.